The scoring champ from the top against Marion. Durant, pull-up jumper, off the rim, and
Limitless Range.
This is the Limitless Range podcast. I am your host, Corey Chandler, and I am here today with our co-host, PD Podlow.
What's up, what's up?
Also got producer Dougie Fresh in the room with us.
What are you doing?
As always, you can find us on our website, limitlessrangepodcast.com, or you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at one Limitless Range. What's going on, fellas? How's the week going?
It's going good, man. It's been a real good week.
Yeah. I'm out of exile here. I'm on a microphone.
Yeah, heck
finally
yeah.
gave one back to me.
Bring it. we had to put him in timeout for a little bit.
Yeah, really.
That's funny.
Yes, sir. So today we got, obviously always listen up for the trivia. It looks like we got another bonus point, so you got a chance for double, man.
We're
And
racking up.
All-Star Weekend's right around the corner. So
exactly.
Make sure you're getting those in. If you're listening to the pod, make sure you're tossing those in. Free jersey. Can't beat that. Also, I forgot to mention, as always, reach us by phone, 360-356-1699. We keep, getting some cool callers in, leaving voicemails. Continue doing that. And what else we got today? Obviously the trade deadline's coming up.
Yeah, big trade deadline.
That's massive, right? Thursday, February 7th. So we're talking next week, this coming week already.
Yeah, we already had one big trade.
Yeah, Knicks and Mavs made a massive trade. We'll obviously talk about that. And, as always, we got a rant going on. Chances are it could be involving LeBron. It's a possibility.
Maybe.
We got to make sure to talk about LeBron at some point.
It's been a while. So.
Other than the fact that he's skipping out on tonight's ABC matchup with the Warriors like a damn pansy. But we could have expected that. What do you guys think?
I'm used to it now.
Should we toss in the trivia early or?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's get it out there.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Okay. Trivia for this week. Who did the Toronto Raptors play against in their first ever regular season game? And then for a bonus point, who scored their first points? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I like that.
Not bad.
I like that. And now, before we get into the trade talk, let's just get into diving into a rant, man.
Yeah, you're up.
I don't know if you got anything to rant about. I got something I would like to talk about, that's for sure.
Hey, go for it,
You're
brother.
cool with that?
Yeah, you're out.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
This, man, with all this, trade talk, obviously, the Knicks opening up cap and a bunch of things. Basically, Kyrie Irving's come out now and said, basically he doesn't owe any team anything, which everyone kind of agrees with, that no NBA players necessarily should owe a team anything. That it is a dog-eat-dog business.
Yeah.
We saw what happened to DeRozan last year. He got sent. He was a loyal dude, and he got snaked by the Toronto Raptors and got sent away. So I can understand some of that. But this one, man, is interesting, right? We got Kyrie Irving, who back in October straight up said, if Boston, at a game, right? It was at a game, right? He was interviewed. He brought out the mic and he said, if you guys will have me.
Yeah.
If you guys will have me.
Even all humble like that. Yeah.
I will
if you'll have me.
If you'll have me, like you're asking the fans, right? The fans are in attendance for this, and you say, I will re-sign. Basically, if you want me here, I want to be here.
Yeah.
This is back in October. And now what are we, barely at the beginning of February? And now he's coming out saying, I don't know any team anything. I don't know.
Ask me on July 1st.
Are you kidding me? What about his commercial with his pops? I was nice to them to open up the garden for him.
That's a good point.
Well, as soon as there's all this cap space in New York, he's like, shh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
anyone's
exactly
shit.
when it hit. I told you.
He wants to play in a different garden, I guess.
I think he realized, wait, maybe that New York situation is a
actually
little
at
bit
play
better than
now.
I thought.
It's just dumb. It's like, why even ask these guys about this stuff? What's the point?
Yeah, I think the thing is, we saw it with Kevin Durant. We've seen it with some other dudes. They say, I would like to play here forever. And I can understand 3-4 years down the road, you've been busting your balls for this team and the GM messes some things up. It doesn't look like the team's going anywhere. I could see you change your mind 4 years down the road.
You've got an opportunity.
But if you're changing your mind 2 or 3 months because a team isn't playing well, because you're losing games, because some teams, your teammates are arguing a little bit.
Because you're the fucking veteran leadership on that team, and you're complaining about a lack of leadership. You don't want these young guys on the team anymore.
Exactly.
Like, what plan did you think that they had?
Who do you guys think he learned leadership from?
That's a great point.
Well,
who's the one leader he played with in his career
on that phone call, right?
Oh my God, dude! That's another thing right there. I thought it was cool that he called LeBron to kind of apologize for the way that he was treating him, because basically he's now saying the same thing about his teammates. He feels like they're not giving him the power, and he feels like they're kind of acting the same way he did to LeBron. So I kind of respected that in a way. But now all this talk about him maybe wanting to play back with LeBron?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Well, if that's true, man, I'll lose so much respect for him.
Even besides that drama shit, though, I mean, like, these players saying that they're going to stay with the team and it just doesn't mean anything. I mean, Corey, how do you feel about, like, LaMarcus Aldridge? When that happened? Yeah.
I don't like him at all. To me, I don't get why people... I can understand if you're a player fan, and there are player fans, and I respect that. He's a Kevin Durant dude, and I can respect that. Wherever Kevin Durant goes, he goes. But for a Portland Trailblazer diehard fan, if y'all expect me to give any sort of credit to LaMarcus Aldridge or root for him or to be happy if he does anything successful...
Those, right? He said, I'm coming... He talked to... Drexler and stuff, and he's talking to guys like, hey, I'm coming for all those records. I'm going to be the franchise guy in Portland history. Especially, and then he left like the next year.
Exactly. And especially with LaMarcus, the way he did it, he was already looking for houses. We were playing the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs, and he had zero effort. Matter of fact, did he not even have effort? When we were losing, he didn't even look like he cared. And then when we're flying back to Portland after the game, he didn't even fly back with the team. He flew back on his own flight. He wasn't even with the team. He was already basically even before the playoffs.
He took the walk of shame out of the front office's house,
So I tell you what, if I'm Boston fans, I don't care what anybody says. If I'm a Boston fan and Kyrie just told me 3 months ago that I'm playing here if you want me here, we want you here, buddy. And if you leave, we're buying jerseys. Of course we want you here. I'm sure the GM's going to try to re-sign him. If he does, and he chooses to go to New York instead of re-signing with Boston, if I'm a Boston fan, I will hate Kyrie forever. To me, that's just shady. Right?
It's tough, though, because for me, I agree with everything you're saying. I think Kyrie is acting like a diva, being a little baby, but I just feel like, for me, it's by organization base, And when I look at Boston... and the way they treated Isaiah Thomas, like, I hate that, man.
Yeah.
Like, the dude played... Hey, I know it was the right move, but at the same time, man, the way it went down, it was like, dude's sister died, and he still played.
Do you think Kyrie is kind of just figuring that out, too? He's like, wait a minute. Why am I pledging my loyalty right now to this fucking team? I mean, at the same time, I don't think Kyrie's the brightest bulb on the tree, honestly. Someone who thinks the world is flat, maybe it just took him a while to be like, oh yeah, I'm talking about my loyalty, and but I'm playing for Boston. AD's dad just said, no, we don't want to go to Boston. They're not loyal. They suck.
Yeah, that big thing came out, where Anthony Davis doesn't want to play in Boston because of what they did. I love that. I absolutely love it, because it puts these organizations on notice, like, yo, you want to treat players like shit?
Yeah, you can't just say, oh, it's just a business.
And I'm sure he feels the same way about Toronto. Yeah. Seriously. If Toronto wanted to trade for him, he's probably thinking like, yo, man, DeRozan put his blood, sweat, and tears into that organization, and you guys just dropped him like nothing for a chance, to get a little bit better. I'm sure he's looking at that like... So, I mean, there is difference in organizations, like... And then, maybe they don't treat everybody the same way, but they treat their stars good, like...
Look at the Mavs.
I feel like Portland treats Lillard good, and even OKC treats Russell Westbrook great, stuff like that. But
I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree with Anthony Davis's dad. What Boston did to Isaiah Thomas was dirty.
Right.
And I agree that players should have the right to do what they want to do. Yeah. But to me, don't come out and say bullshit and then in the same year, sides. Right? To me, and I talked to you about this on the drive over here, it's like being in a relationship in a way, right? You don't go and say you're fully committed to somebody. Let's get married to them, and then 2 months later when shit's hitting the fan, and you're like, oh, what? You don't cook meals every day? This ain't working out. We're arguing left and right? Your family doesn't like me? You think I owe you anything? Yeah, you just put a goddamn $7,000 rock on my finger. You're right, you owe me something.
Damn, 7 G's, Corey?
Whoa.
You sounded like that guy we interviewed.
It's the same thing. Okay, maybe 2G. I don't know. But I'm just saying it's the same thing. Right? To me, it's like a relationship. If you know, I'm not saying, obviously divorces happen and things like that. Well, but I can respect it a lot more.
And get married, and then immediately when things aren't working out, well, people get divorced all the time.
Yeah.
And that's like saying, well, it's a business.
And you talk about the organizations, right? You don't go out and pick somebody that you know is basically a piece of shit, and you're like, well, from a guy's perspective, I know she basically hooks up with everybody, and she cheated on her last 9 boyfriends, but I'm going to go out and put a ring on her finger, and then in 3 months say, well, everybody knows she cheats all the time, so really I don't owe her anything. Well, then why the hell did you put a ring on her finger, dummy? Yeah. There's no reason to go out and say that.
This is a weird analogy.
You don't think it's how is it a weird analogy?
No, you're good. We're just messing with you, man.
I'm just saying, 6 years,
personal, bro.
6 years down the road, 6 years down the road, yeah. If you break up or whatever, and he wants to leave Boston, I can see that. But bro, don't come out here with all this stuff and then 3 months later bounce.
You gotta try. Yeah.
But would you say he was married? I would say he was more engaged.
Well, yeah.
No.
He called off the engagement.
Well, then
that's a little different.
Okay.
I should be getting on his knee and saying, "If you'll have me."
Yeah,
that's asking to be married right there.
That's a great point, Dougie. I'm just saying, dude.
He's getting cold feet.
This shit just drives me nuts, man. To be honest with you, Kyrie and other dudes in the league, I don't like that stuff, and I don't like it when owners and they do it as well. When they did to Isaiah Thomas, I think it's shady. But at the same time, if you're going to say what Boston did to Isaiah Thomas is shady, then don't come around and say what Kyrie Irving is going to do is not shady as well. It goes both ways. If you think the GMs are shady, then you got to say what the player did is shady as well.
Yeah, it isn't picking a side of player or GMs. It's picking a side of a loyalty or business. For both sides.
There's ethics on both sides.
Yeah. Here's the funny part, right? It's like Kyrie's crying. I mean, this dude's been in 2 dope situations.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually it's a player crying because the team sucks.
Right? Yeah.
But, like, this guy played with LeBron and was going to finals every year. I want out, you know? Yeah. Then he's on a team that's, like, the East favorite. They're picked the favorites to come into the season.
Gordon Hayward broke his ankle. He's not good enough.
It's just funny to me, like...
I don't get it.
How you gonna... You know, it's one thing to be a crybaby when you're, like... You know what I'm saying? But when you're locked into a deal on a winning organization, it's a little bit worse. And I can't stand LeBron.
He's like,
but I mean, it was still a winning situation.
That's his first world problems. It's like, why don't you go down and talk to Vucevic? You know, see how he feels.
Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Well, how do you expect to like start gelling with dudes? So, like, let's say he does leave to New York, and let's say Kevin Durant goes there, they end up with Zion or whatever. How do you expect to gel with a team if you don't put in any time into the connections? Like, when locker room drama's going on, that's part of it. Any sport I've ever played, there's some dudes that don't like each other. There's some locker room drama. It's like part of sports. You go through some losing stretches.
It really surprised me, those comments that he made. I like Kyrie. I'll put that disclaimer in here a lot. He's on my fantasy team, and I love watching the dude.
Yeah.
And I've always liked him. And
I love Kyrie. He's clutch.
Before, I mean, when all this was starting, when he was talking about, well, we don't have the leadership or something like that, we need a veteran presence. Like, as soon as I read that, I remember, like, wait, what? We're on different pages here, dude. That's you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've been in the league for 9 years, eight seasons or something
was that
like that.
A shot at Al Horford,
champion?
Too?
Yeah, it's like,
Al Horford's
such a great leader.
Yeah. It's like, they're just on different pages. I don't get it. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. Obviously, I went off pretry hard. It's been that kind of stuff's been driving me nuts in the league. But
I
feel like what Kyrie's doing is shady.
I just know that you wouldn't ask Kyrie Irving to marry you. Is all.
I'd ask Dame Dollar to marry me though.
Ooh.
That dude wants to
Can we move on, please? Sorry, can we move on? I can't do this.
I don't want to talk about all that.
Exactly.
All right, man. Let's jump over to trade talk. Pete, I know there's been a massive trade that happened, and some guys I feel like thought the Mavs won the deal when you look at star power and grabbing Porzingis, and they're going to match him up with Luka. and they were pretty excited about it. You know, I even talked to Brian, the guy that we had a few weeks back on from the Mavs podcast, and he was pretty excited from his end as well. And I know you take the opposite stance on this. You think New York definitely won this trade. You want to break it down for us?
Well, I mean, there's so many factors. There's so many layers to this trade. New York won this trade, and so many things could happen, and they would still have won the trade. Like, even if they don't sign a big free agent, they still won that trade. You know, Porzingis said he wanted out in the meeting they had. Right there, that tells you everything.
Wow.
If that news breaks, like, you know, before they make that trade, basically the trade value will drop instantly.
Right? Yeah.
Because people realize he wants out and he's a free agent at the end of the year. So they went and they took the best package they had that was sitting there already, and they pulled the trigger on it, and it was genius. They're getting 2 firsts, a high-end prospect, you know, and they're also getting all that cap relief. That's just, you know how hard it is to pull all 3 of those things in a trade?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get the prospect already.
It's not hard if you're willing to give up someone like Kristaps Porzingis.
But here's the thing. He's 7'3".
Yeah, he's coming off an ACL tear.
Well, before that too, he was injury prone.
He's also 23 years old.
Yeah, but the thing you don't understand is he's due for a max deal.
Yeah.
So even then,
even if superstar,
he could be. If you're putting that money on him, you're taking a huge risk. Just off that, if he gets a knee injury or anything, he's done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the risk on it, and if for 7'3" people, go look at Yao Ming. You remember his injury history? Like, it's very rare that anyone that's 7'2", 7'3", 7'4" is able to stay healthy. He was already having issues before he ever even had that major knee injury. So, I'm telling you, they won that trade, and it's not even close. Porzingis was going to leave anyways, and that deal's better than what the Lakers are offering. Cap space, 2 firsts, and DSJ versus Lonzo, Kuzma, Rondo, and a first. And the Lakers' first is much worse than with LeBron James obviously leading your team. A Lakers' first is usually going to be much worse than a Dallas team led by a young guy, Luka, who I do love, but it's hard to win.
Losing some games.
Yeah, and then okay, not only that, let's just say everything goes the Dallas Mavericks way, right? That Porzingis is healthy. He's an all-star caliber player again. Is that even enough to win a title? Because now their cap space is strapped.
Yeah.
Taking on Courtney Lee and taking on
Tim Hardaway.
Getting rid of Courtney Lee and Tim Hardaway is huge.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge. I mean, that's the cap space, but I mean, yeah.
We're talking about the Knicks, and that's huge.
But
for Dallas,
as huge as
how are they going to add help?
Extension.
How are they going to add help to Luka and Porzingis? This is best case scenario. Porzingis is healthy. Now they can't get help. Their cap is going to be strapped. You got no first round picks. You traded 3 of the next 4 years. So, I mean, think about it, man. Luka's, when his contract's up, if it's a bunch of mediocrity years, finishing barely under 500 and missing the playoffs, you think he's going to want to re-sign with Dallas? And that's if Porzingis is healthy.
Yeah.
So, chances are he could be hurt.
Man,
if he gets hurt, they have no way to fix it.
Just thinking about the fact that, even if he's healthy, it's going to be Porzingis, yet another big name in the West, dealing with all this Western Conference competition and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Well, I think that the interesting thing, too, is so I can see why some Dallas fans might be excited, right? You get a big name in Porzingis. But what I don't understand is why people out there are saying the Knicks didn't do a great job in this, because they're obviously tanking this year. They're guaranteed pretty much a top 3 pick from the direction they're going, and they're hoping a number 1.
I keep hearing a lot of people scared about Dennis Smith Jr. accidentally winning too many games for him, and they're going to be like right out of the top 3.
I'm sure they're going to tell. I'm sure they'll shut them down. I'm sure they'll shut him down. They'll tell him, "Don't
get hurt. Yeah.
Keep turn over the ball 30 times if you have to. We're not winning games." But they're not trying to win this year. So when people are like, they brought on Wesley Matthews, they brought on DeAndre at $22 and $18 million a year. For one more, for this is the last year. So if you're tanking this year, you're not worried about making a trade before free agency and land a big star. You're not trying to open up cap this year. When are you trying to open up cap? Next year when you hopefully land Zion. And guess what? DeAndre, Wesley Matthews, wherever you want to go. gone.
Yeah.
So they did a great job. And not only that, they landed, like Pete said, 2 first-round picks from the Dallas Mavericks who, like Pete said, if Porzingis ends up injured or it doesn't work out or he signs somewhere else, they might be like, you might be getting 2 top 10 picks.
Yeah.
So
I
feel like they killed
3
it.
years or something, right?
They killed that trade.
It's two.
Yeah, it's of the next.
It's
21 and 23.
Yeah. But
which
still,
is great. The further out they are, like the better.
I don't see
just
Dallas, like you said, with the problems they're going to have with cap space and stuff like that. And we don't even know
in the West.
We don't in the West. We don't even know if Porzingis is for sure going to sign with them. So you made all that for Porzingis being in the last year of his contract. What if Porzingis wants to go to LA?
Yeah.
So Dallas just traded.
He said he's going to sign the qualifying.
It's the craziest risk. And here's the thing. Let me say this though: if you thought that, Porzingis, say you thought he wanted to come to Dallas, right? You basically traded all that away for a few months of wooing him and hoping to convince him. Because if you thought you could get him in the offseason, that would have been the play. Wait till the offseason.
That's what I don't
keep
get.
DSJ, keep your first round picks, and go sign him in the offseason.
Because
you're already going to overpay him.
Well, because
he's not a $30 million player.
If you're Dallas, you don't have much confidence anymore that you're going to be signing any free agent that you want, though.
But you think if you bring him in for a couple months,
so many times.
But so why is he all of a sudden going to sign now just because they traded for him?
Yeah, you want to talk about not owing someone something?
You know what I mean?
Like, I don't know if they really know.
If he gets a better contract somewhere else,
trying to pair these European white dudes together and see if that works.
It's an
Under
interesting
the
idea. If it works out perfectly and Porzingis stays healthy and Doncic continues to ball, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But like Pete said, they didn't need to do it this way. They didn't need to give up that much.
I think the risk was just not worth the reward.
Just talk to Porzingis in the offseason and offer him what you're going to offer him. Because if you're going to get him there, you were going to get him anyways, right?
I think, though, I mean, you think that the Mavericks didn't win that trade, of course.
Not even.
And it's
they lost it big time.
But you know what? But I still think, I mean, if New York whiffs on this free agency class and they end up with fucking Kemba Walker and Tobias Harris or something like that, great players. But if that's what they do with all this money, I think they lose too. Like, it's a lose-lose trade.
But at the same time, their best
something, whatever.
Their best case scenario, let's say they kept Porzingis like you're talking about. It is a risk, but why keep Porzingis and be like an 8 seed?
Right.
Maybe kind of make the playoffs.
Better.
They might as well risk it to try to get to the finals or just continue to tank, right?
You make that move if you're a piece away.
Yeah.
Seriously, you make that trade if you're a player away. And Porzingis can get you there. That trade is so far off. They're not a player away. They're 2 players away. They're a few players away. Now they don't have the cap to go after people once they sign Porzingis to a max.
Yeah. Like you said, if Porzingis was healthy.
He'll be a restricted free agent.
If Porzingis was healthy this year and Portland made an offer like that and Porzingis was balling and he was going to help them really make a run, then I'd be like, you know what? We gave up 2 first-rounders. Porzingis really going to help us. We might get even further.
That would push you guys.
But you did that for an injured guy that's not going to even be able to help you, that you might not even be able to keep next year.
Maybe the Mavs just aren't seeing the team
just think
right.
about it.
You're looking for a team that's like, all right, I mean, Porzingis isn't fucking playing this year. It's like looking for that team that, man, some guy like this could really push us over the hill next year.
You can't. Listen,
someone like the Sacramento Kings,
and you can't give up
that.
Everything for a guy that's going to make you, at best, a 6 seed and a second-round elimination.
Yeah,
like that's their best-case scenario. It's almost like a T-Mac Yao combo, except the league is so much deeper now. Teams are so much stronger.
But for the Mavs, I mean, this will be restricted free agency, though, right? And if you're working him out and it's like, well, he's going to be way overpaid if someone gives him a max or if we give him the max and he's off this ACL tear, he's got this injury history, and if there are other teams that aren't seeing that as well, someone's going to give him a big offer, and Dallas can say, all right, see ya. You go ahead and pay him $30 million. Or whatever he would make. I don't know how that works.
They can't.
But
they can't.
They have
you know how
to
many
now,
fans they would lose?
They have to match.
Brian would lose his... Yeah, they have to give him whatever offer he wants.
Yes, they do. And they can,
No, they have to give him whatever offer he wants.
Because of what they traded.
Their fans would be like, wait a minute, you just gave away 2 firsts and DSJ, and and took on all this cap hit.
Oh yeah, and those.
And you're not going to resign him? Come on, dog. You're
he
crazy.
gave out 2 firsts. So you basically you're giving away our future, and now you're not going to match.
This is why you don't battle us. The facts aren't all there, bro.
If it's a max deal,
that's just a sunk cost fallacy. If they want to be dumb, I mean, sure. No, you have to, because then look at what you gave up. Or maybe you can actually look at the fucking facts. And if he's not worth signing it, don't do it.
Doug.
Just like you're saying, he's not going to be worth signing it.
Dougie Fresh.
Oh, I don't think he's going to be worth it. You know, that's
why they shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Fresh.
But they need him. He's a player that can help him. I'm not saying that.
If you think that in your mind, that there's a possibility that if somebody offers him a match and you're saying, well, when we look at it, or a max, we look at it, we don't feel like he's worth a max.
Then why'd you do
if
the
you
trade
were
in the
even
first
thinking
place?
about that, and you're like, well, he's not really worth it, so why would we now risk this? Why would you make the trade in the first place? You have to, in your mind, say,
when
if Porzingis gets a max, we have to match it, or we would never make that trade.
Yeah. I mean, you already made it, so too bad.
I mean, you
have to take it when it comes.
But
I don't think many GMs do that either. Just like,
Well, there's always sometimes trades work out to where somebody won 51%, the other one won 49%.
Yeah.
Or, if somebody wins a title and then years later the other team gets the prospect that helps them win a title, they both winners.
Right.
But sometimes there's scenarios where
they just,
you trade Kevin Martin for James Harden, bro.
Yeah.
And the other organization fucked up. And that's what I'm telling you happened here.
Or you trade.
That's how bad this trade was.
Get Carmelo Anthony and give away the picks that become Jamal Murray and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
is what
is
that
a
could
mistake. Be. And you can look at it and say, well, who'd they pick? And yes, if New York whiffs on the picks, you can make this trade look worse. But right now, I'm telling you, New York murdered that trade. They won every level of it for a player that was going to walk anyways. Okay? Yeah. Anthony Davis, that offer is almost on par with the Lakers. To me, better, but some people can argue. But it's close, right?
Yeah.
You would say it's close.
Yeah.
That offer to that offer. They're close. For a guy who's coming off a knee injury, who's injury prone, who hasn't played, they got that. And leaving in his last year. Almost the same offer for an Anthony Davis, top 5 player in the world, who has an extra year on his deal.
Yeah.
And they got all that. Think about that. That's crazy. Yeah. What a steal.
No, that's a great point, man.
I'm telling you.
You bring up Anthony Davis, man. Let's move into Anthony Davis talk.
All right.
There's obviously that's the other guy out there. That's a massive talk.
The Blazers, right?
I don't know how the Blazers would be able to pull that one off, but
I've seen some of those out there.
Yeah.
Nurkic and McCollum.
No, of course.
Wow.
But yeah, cool. What do you guys think? Doug, I'll shoot it over to you first, man. Obviously, you're a Lakers guy. You saw the first offer that came out. What was the first offer? We had Rondo, Lonzo, Kuzma, and then what was it? Beasley and a first?
Yeah.
Or something like that? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, because, Lonzo and Kuzma, and there was another one of the young guys in there, I think. And Zubats.
No, you're thinking of a different offer.
Thinking of different. I've just seen so many of these Lakers ones.
There's
so many of these Lakers ones, like, as a Lakers fan who wants to keep some of this freaking young core, I haven't seen so many trades in my life where I'm like, this is just that. It's like the Lakers are giving up way too little and too much at the same time. No one wants this. I don't understand what. Maybe they're just leaking these trades that aren't just not going to happen. They're trying to finally get a conversation started because Dell Demps wouldn't even pick up the phone before, is what they were saying.
Well, it'd be hard to pick up the phone when you're getting offers like that. I wouldn't pick up the phone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You really wonder
so
where
bad
these...
they can't even counter.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when Trey sends me an offer of fantasy basketball. I'm like, what is this, bro? You serious? Get at TJ Warren for Kevin Durant?
But you have to
Come on, Trey.
Every trade. I
don't even respond. You can't even counter to that.
That's an actual offer, and you know it. These leaks of trade rumors and stuff, you got to take all that with a grain of salt. Sometimes all these smoke screens and stuff. You see what happens before the draft. They're leaking things out to start a narrative in a certain direction and stuff. Who knows?
I think this one though was
and that
actually
one was
reported though, right? The other ones were
just like
ideas and stuff.
Yeah, there was one that was reported.
No, this one was reported what the Lakers actually sent.
I know these leaks of what they are. Neither GM ever said, hey, this was what it was. But Woj, they're saying that. If there's 10 different offers out there, then for whatever reason people have, well, these are the ones that get leaked out. Look at this garbage they fucking sent me. I don't know.
It doesn't matter, man. We're not here to.
We're not
here to
everyone
do the
assumes,
what ifs. We're here to do
everyone
what people
assumes he's going to go there, and then you leak out an
out.
offer like that. It's like, what's the strategy here? I don't get it. But it's like, give up the young guys that we want to keep, and not give him enough at the same time.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's like because you're including Michael Beasley in there. Or what's the point? I don't get it.
Yeah, that trade was horrible. I don't know, man. Your Lakers are messing up again, dude. They did this. They messed up with Paul George. I was telling Corey this. They treated him like he was a third-rate star. They wanted to hear from everybody else first.
They just assumed. That he was just going to go there.
And what's happening? Dude's about to win Defensive Player of the Year. You don't think that would have helped LeBron James this year?
Yeah.
Come on.
George could be
pair Paul George, LeBron with all them young guys. They'd be a contender. Yeah.
Yeah, they whipped on him. Kawhi.
So, yeah, they're whiffing all over the place. Magic is really dropping the ball here. I don't know if he thought because he got LeBron, the cream of the crop, that he could sit here and sit back and everybody was going to come running. But newsflash, people aren't running to play with LeBron.
Yeah.
That's the newsflash. I don't think Magic understands. And Jeannie Bust when they're saying, like, if you don't want to come to play with LeBron, then we don't want you here.
You got players in situations like Anthony Davis where it's like, of course playing with LeBron is preferable to what he's doing. No matter what, other people say about LeBron. He's like, well, I'd rather play with LeBron in LA than stay on this Pelicans team right now. So, I mean, you've got guys like that, but then, yeah, you're not attracting guys like Paul George who are like, hey, I'm on a pretty damn good team right now. Why would I want to give that up and be second fiddle to LeBron? But anyway,
that's not the point I'm even making. Paul George, you don't even know
LeBron
Paul George
isn't an attraction, is what you're saying.
I'm saying that Magic in them thought that people would just come running, and they need to put the work in like they did when they got LeBron. They need to court Paul George like he courted LeBron. Yeah. If you want to get those players there, get it done. He's not doing that. He's sitting there, with these little bullshit offers, acting like Paul George is the third fiddle. He don't need him, and that's the problem that they're having right now. That the Lakers organization is having, in my opinion. I don't think they're doing what they need to do to get these guys. If you want Anthony Davis, you go get him. Because you want to wait a year till he's a free agent. I see all these Lakers fans, he'll come in when he's a free agent.
New York with all that cap space.
No, let me finish what I'm saying. If you want to wait, he's going to come and then 1 year's going to go by. LeBron's going to be 36 years old, man.
Yeah.
Seriously. You don't know what kind of player he's going to be.
He just missed a month.
You want to sit here and waste your good years. They got to spend that cap coming up too. That's going to be the year. All that beautiful cap they're going to have this year coming up. AD's still going to be signed. Yeah. So that's another wasted year of LeBron James because they're going to have to save that cap for AD, right?
Plus, they're really at a fork in the road with these young guys, too. And now every single one of them is in trade rumors. It's like, you got to do something,
Yeah, how do you expect,
some of these guys
how do you expect younger player development in that system? You got LeBron's camp that we talked about last week, talking about Ingram don't fit. Now you see Ingram wasn't even included in the trade. Now you see all these other guys included in the trade. Like, how do you show up to work at that point? You're like, I don't even know if I'm going to be here. Why am I even trying? Like, you're just trying to get Anthony Davis with me. So I feel like as a young dude, that's hard to deal with. I'm with you, man. And as you talked about with dudes they missed out on, Cousins is another one. You saw what the Warriors were able to get with Cousins? Because
Lakers was the same reason.
The Lakers were the first option. The same reason with Magic. Magic's he'll just come and play with LeBron. People want to come. We kind of want Paul George. Maybe DeMarcus Cousins on the back burner. We want this. He didn't go after the dudes he want. Now the Warriors, your biggest competitor, got him on the cheap.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes. If you guys could have got that, you might have had Boogie, LeBron, and Paul George.
And this affects their dynasty long term, too, because now if Boogie played there, he takes winning, right? If KD walks, what if they offer that money to Boogie now? He would have never even been talking to them. He could have already been signed with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So now the Warriors dynasty might still carry on with Curry, Clay, Boogie, and Draymond. That's still a tough team to beat.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many factors that could happen here. I don't understand what what was going on.
I agree, man. It's definitely interesting to see. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be pretty hard for anybody else really to send offers, especially now that AD's come out and said that essentially if he's not in LA, it's going to be a 1-year rental. That's going to be the kind of the killer for the Pelicans. He kind of screwed them over because nobody else is really probably going to try to offer anything.
Clippers.
No, dude, here's the funny thing. A 1-year rental. Isn't that what Porzingis is? He's a 1-year rental, basically. And look at what they got for him.
But Porzingis didn't come out and say that.
No, I hear you, but AD can help you win a ring. And you're telling me that a team can't beat that offer that the Lakers sent out? Because if I'm a contending team, I'm willing to give up a little more than that trash offer to get AD over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think teams could... And I agree with everything you're saying, but the point is that the Lakers are putting no pressure on anyone else, so people can't top that offer. So if you're the organization, right... are you going to want to give this deal to the team that freaking tampered and messed up your situation? Is the way they're probably looking at it. Like, we probably could have re-signed AD, but all this tampering and all this agent crap with LeBron James swayed him that way.
If I'm the Warriors, I might try to make a trade. Get rid of Draymond.
Hey, we got two trade ideas from online about Warriors trading for AD.
Ooh, let's hear about.
I don't know about those going through, but what do you got? I've seen multiple different ones. Well, Cameron Harris, he sent us a couple of these, but first one sending Iggy, Livingston, and Jordan Bell for Anthony Davis. Now the salaries work. I think that would be really, maybe if you like Jordan Bell a lot or something like that.
Right. But on the Warriors end, if the salaries work, that's dope, obviously. But the Pelicans ain't going to get that.
Yeah, the Pelicans get nothing in that trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Bell's a prospect.
Where's the first round?
Very little value.
Yeah.
Why aren't the Warriors
throwing in picks?
Cam, I feel like you got to toss in some first rounders.
Well, even the first rounders are going to be the worst in the NBA. You can pick 30.
Yeah,
it's like
that would be tough. What's the other one?
Kind of saying, to OKC for Roberson, Jeremy Grant, Patrick Patterson, and a pick or two.
Once again, there's no premium player the Pelicans are getting back.
Yeah,
you got to understand if you're going to make a trade like this, you have to have both sides getting something. Yeah. That's just how it works.
It's cool
it's cool that you use
work. It's cool that he used the trade thing that you've been talking about, though. Machine. Yeah, the trade machine. That the salaries line up. That's pretty cool that he was able to at least make it work. But
hey, still get some extra raffle tickets.
Yeah, see, if I was
trade,
I think a good like hypothetical trade would be if the Knicks were really trying to get two superstars, right? And they trade Anthony Davis, they get back Cantor to match up the salaries. You got to have Cantor's contract in there, and they get back Kevin Knox on the rookie deal.
Yeah,
and they get back that first round pick. And maybe even DSJ, some kind of package like that. Where they get back those young guys, send AD the other way, bring in a KD, and now you have your two core pieces.
Yeah.
Both signed to maxes, but.
Man, if that happened, dude, if that happened, Magic just screwed up massively again. If that happens... And he's like, oh, well, he'll just come in. Why am I going to send him great offers? He just already said he's a one-year rental. He's coming to us anyways. And you just assume he's coming?
Yeah.
And then he gets lined up with a Kevin Durant, and he's like, actually, 1 year rental to stay in the Knicks again? Yeah. Then all of a sudden, Magic's like, we're stuck with LeBron. These guys got AD. Oh, man.
Yeah, and bringing a ring, Anthony Davis talked about, he came out and talked about his legacy, right?
Yeah.
If he wins, we all know winning a ring with LeBron, well, what kind of legacy do you get? Ask Kyrie. He can't even get his own teammates to respect him. They're in the locker room laughing like, hey, you were LeBron's coattails. You weren't part of that win. So, that's what you get when you win with LeBron. I'm just saying. Win with KD, and you're on every sports show being called the better player. So
in New York City.
Yeah, in New York City. Not LA, where they're used to winning the tasting
storming through the Eastern Conference. Getting to the conference finals right off the bat. It's pretty.
It's intriguing. Think about it. You're talking about Lakers, right? Where if you win one, are they even satisfied? They want minimum two, right? You win in New York, one ring.
Oh man,
you're a legend. You're getting a statue. You and KD or whoever joins you, getting statues outside, and you're a legend.
Yeah.
Win in New York, man.
Yeah, that's a great point. Kind of just to finish up on, I know we touched on this. I think you're kind of hopeful that Kevin Durant might end up in New York, and I think...
Yeah, I want some parity.
Right. And we talked about this.
But I want...
Yeah, let's get some of these Western Conference guys over the Eastern Conference.
Yeah. Well, and we discussed... You discussed the first rounder for Anthony Davis in this trade with New York, the possibility of it with Cantor and that. And it is a possibility. But I think both of us... I think it is, but I think both of us would prefer... If you're a Kevin Durant guy or you're a Knicks fan, I think both of us would prefer to... We'd rather have the first rounder.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you end up with Zion, instead of Anthony Davis, then you, as we talk about with salaries, you end up with Zion with that rookie contract. And we've talked about this over the phone over the last week. You would rather have Zion with that rookie contract than Anthony Davis and having to sign him to a max. Because now you can get non-committed, non-engagement ring Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant with
those
Zion
first rounders he just got from the Mavs.
That's true. It's eco
stats. Not
those eco stats, right?
That young rookie deal, right?
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, so I think it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But wouldn't you rather have Zion? If you could guarantee Zion instead of Anthony Davis for the contract, you'd probably.
If I'm the general manager, this is what I'm doing. If I think I'm going to get KD and Kyrie, I would rather have that and draft Zion. If I can only get one free agent, and I'm going to have that salary left over, and I know that only KD's coming, I'd rather trade Zion for AD, pair them together, and try to win a ring. So there's so many scenarios here. But I'm with him. If they could spend the salary and get a couple good, KD and another star, right, and spend those max, keep Zion, and win that way, that would be huge. But here's the thing. I also have another scenario. And this final scenario is if they don't get the number 1 pick to draft Zion, I don't really see a need for the what's the point guard's name from Duke?
Barrett.
I don't really see a need for him on the Knicks. If you have a DSJ and KD who are already going to be handling the ball, he's kind of got that Russell Westbrook mentality. I just don't see a player. I just don't see a player in the draft that would be worth that. Now you trade that pick and you go after a Kevin Love type player.
Yeah,
on a decent salary. You know what I'm saying? A good shooter. You don't end up with
Zion Williamson.
All of this talk about what they should do.
That would be the other scenario.
I mean, what are the chances that instead they're totally like the Knicks and they use this money to pay someone like fucking John Wall or something like that? And just something really stupid.
Dude, here's the thing. Here's what's crazy. Listen.
Oh my God.
It could happen.
No, but here's what's funny, right? People think that players don't want to go play for the Knicks, right? That's not the case. The problem is...
I'm just talking about their front office.
Let me finish. The problem is the Knicks have always lined up their cap on the shitty year. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So the year LeBron's a free agent, they got no cap.
Yeah.
The year KD's a free agent, they never have cap. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when they've had the cap, it's been for the Amari Stoudemires, and that's where they overpay. It's not like Amari Stoudemire and LeBron were available, and LeBron said F you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? At those times. Right now, they have the cap, and this is a beautiful free agency. So, and New York is an attraction. It is. Especially if you get to tell your superstar, hey, you get to come play for us. We might have Zion, a young kid that you could carry to championships, and then in a few years, he could carry you as you age, right? Yeah. You could think like that. Plus, you get to pick any teammate you want to come play with you. Yeah. Anyone you want. And we'll sign him. Pick your guy.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. Not many. What other organization can offer that? A chance at a young Zion and picking your own other superstar teammate. What other organization can afford that right now coming into this offseason?
Yeah, nobody.
And almost just the jokingly, but half serious, like you're saying, hey, win us a championship with this great free agency class, and you're getting a statue.
Yeah,
you're getting at MSG.
Legit, dude.
Like,
New York fans are no joke.
Winning. Okay, I know that the sentimental story
suffering.
that LeBron, went to Cleveland, and he's from Akron, so it's like there's a connection there, right?
Yeah.
But I think that winning in New York, if KD won in New York, it would be bigger than that. Bigger than what LeBron did in Cleveland. Even though they have a connection there, I think that New York win would be bigger.
It's pretty big.
You're talking about
big.
Yeah, because you're talking about just. The fan base of New York is massive compared to Cleveland.
Huge.
That's why.
It's incredible. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And no one believes it. That's another thing. It's not like KD. If KD and Kyrie go there, people are going to be excited, but people are going to be like, that organization still sucks. Their front office still sucks. There's not going to be pieces around them. So it's it's got the reputation for being a shitty organization, and it's really hard for people to envision that winning. Yeah. So like if KD and Kyrie or something, or KD and Zion or whoever, they want a ring there, it's going to be huge.
And if KD leaves after winning a championship this year, that's legendary. You three-peat and then you leave, you go to New York, and then if you win one over there, that's some legendary stuff.
You don't see top players leaving great situations to go try to prove something else.
Let's talk about any other teams out there as we're talking about this trade deadline. There's
even on the same team, I mean, different player, Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
He's going to be up. I mean, Woj was tweeting about that today as we're recording. I mean, they're getting pretty hard into that, into trying to trade Drew. But there's other teams there's only so many teams that are selling, right?
Yeah.
There would actually, it seems like there'd be even more out there, but you really look at it, there's only so many, but there's a lot of guys that could make a difference. I mean, there's a couple huge names out there.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, we talked about this team earlier in the year, and you just brought it up jokingly with John Wall ending up in New York. The Washington Wizards are in some serious trouble here, fellas. Serious trouble. You talk about New York, if they ended up signing John Wall, or if anybody signs that contract, makes a trade for that contract, they are ridiculous. ridiculous because you're talking about a contract that he's not even close to living up to.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the dude's contract? We're talking about like $40+ million, $141 million guaranteed over the next 4 years.
We've been talking about trades for Beal and Wall for like the past couple months, and now going into the trade deadline, I mean, of course, all the talks about Anthony Davis and names like Marc Gasol and Mike Conley and stuff like that. Anthony Davis is going to overshadow anything, and it's like, oh yeah, we've been wondering what the Wizards are going to do with Beal and Wall since week 4 of the season.
Look, the tough part about Washington.
Do you think they're going to end up doing anything?
Look, the tough part with Washington right now is they got no choice but to try to sell Bradley Beal and Otto Porter basically just to clear cap. Hopefully they get some players back that John Wall wants to play with, but Bradley Beal is worth his contract. Otto Porter, not even close to worth his contract. John Wall isn't even close to his contract. I'm talking $141 million over the next 4 years with a player option, not a team option, a player option on the 5th year of $46 million. We're talking about an injury-prone John Wall, a dude that can't lead a team, a dude that clearly has locker room drama with anybody. That's your franchise player. I'm sorry to tell you, Washington, you better hope you can get someone for Bradley Beal because nobody's taking anything for John Wall. I'm not even giving you a 4th-round pick for John Wall. I'm not kidding you. You can't. For that contract, nobody could fill up teams around him. No. There's no way you can trust a guy in John Wall who's been injured, 3 times? I'm talking big injuries over the last few years. How are you going to guarantee $141 million and then a player option 5 years away from now? You don't even know if the dude's going to be able to walk by then. The amount of freaking knee injuries and shit the dude's having.
Well,
smart you're going to be paying $46 million for a wheelchair.
Are going to know when the cap's going up too. That really just throws things out of whack, and that can really make or break a team.
If I'm Washington, if you got Bradley Beal, you could probably, the best scenario for Washington, they have to wait till this free agency is over to try to move John Wall, because the reason why you have no shot at trading John Wall right now is because nobody will take that cap space with the dream possibility of maybe landing a Kawhi Leonard or a KD in the free agency and covering that cap. You see what I'm saying? So after free agency hits, this major free agent market, and Corey's right, no one's going to give them anything. Their best move, what I would do is, if I was a general manager, is I would pair John Wall with like a 1st-round pick or something something with value. I would find a team that didn't land anyone in the free agency and has a shit ton of cap. Let's say New York whiffs, right, is your hypothetical. Yeah. They get nobody. And I would say, hey, here's a pick. Here, take on this contract for us. They're going to try to make the fans excited. We've seen them take dumb contracts before. They're notorious for it, right?
Yeah.
No. So that would be the best play if the general manager was smart, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's the way I would go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm with you, man. That's an interesting look at that, PD Pod. It's just the fact that, man, I don't even think John Wall is even close to this, like, his contract. I feel like John Wall right now is, like, worth, not now that he's injured, but I'm saying, like, the dude's barely worth like 15 to 20 mil right now.
Yeah.
The way he's been performing over the last few years, he hasn't done anything. Playoff John Wall, we haven't seen nothing.
When he goes
he's arguing with everybody. Better. He's injured with everything. He's out. They're doing better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, yeah, dude, they're in some serious trouble. They got to try to get rid of, I feel like they got to try to get rid of Otto Porter for something, and they got to try to get rid of Bradley Beal, and they hope that they can fill up maybe some shooters around John Wall on the cheap that John Wall likes to play with. That's like their hope, because they need to wait for that contract to get up. But I like it. If they could flip that, if they could do that, then I'm with you. If I'm Washington, I would love to get rid of John Wall and a 1st and maybe somebody else and just dump some cap. That'd be huge.
You just got to catch a desperate organization, because if New York misses, their fan base is going to be pressing them to go get somebody.
But you got to think their fan base has got to be smart enough to know, like,
that's
are you guys kidding me?
That's why they signed
John Wall for that much money.
That's why they signed Amari to those big deals. It's like to create that stir, that excitement of maybe something.
Yeah.
But
it's tough.
Well, let's look at positive stuff. All right.
Yeah. Let's look.
We're all getting mad here.
I know. I feel like this whole podcast. This whole podcast has been a rant.
Yeah. For real. No, there's just other players out there that could be fun. Had for a decent price. Jeremy Lin, Reggie Bullock. I've been seeing all day.
He's a good shooter.
Exactly. or a bigger name, Aaron Gordon. What do you think? Where do you think? Do you think that the Blazers are looking at Aaron Gordon?
I mean,
they've been really
I've heard
active.
some interesting stuff about it. I've heard that they've been active and they've been thinking about it. The tough part is the trades that they're trying to do to get anybody. They're trying to keep CJ, obviously, and keep Dame, from what I've heard, when they're trying to make a trade for Aaron Gordon.
When's Evan Turner's contract up?
He's still got another, I think, this year and then one more year after that, I believe. Okay. So he's not even up after this year. Evan Turner's obviously a guy that we'd love to throw in there. I mean, shoot, Myers Leonard would be nice to toss into any trade. Kid you not. But the tough part for Portland, I think, is they're just trying to figure out for Aaron Gordon's contract. From what I've seen, they're probably having to give up, Zach Collins, who I really like on a rookie deal, and then maybe a couple first rounders, and then you land Aaron Gordon. But the problem is how much different is our team with Aaron Gordon versus Maurice Harkless? It seems big name wise. You think Aaron Gordon obviously would help you big time, right? Because you're still probably starting Aminu at the 4, and now I would
think so.
You would think, but when you actually break it down, Mo helps a lot on the defensive end that Aaron Gordon doesn't help out, but you're also looking at the contract difference, right? So we're looking at contracts. Aaron Gordon is a better player than Mo Harkless, don't get me wrong. I'm not dumb enough to not think that. But I'm saying when you look at the contract difference, look at Aaron Gordon's contract. It's like in the mid-20s.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
We can't have CJ, Dame, and Aaron Gordon, in my opinion. Right? In my opinion, I just don't feel like we can make it happen. I think if it does happen, it'll be interesting to see. But
and on the Magic's end, too, they're on the way up finally. Their team looks decent in the East. They improved their defense. They started playing better. It's like they're just a couple steps away from being, a top 4 team in the East over the next couple of years or something. And it's like, what are they going to do? I mean, Aaron Gordon just isn't going to be part of those plans, I guess.
Well, that's a funny thing. Looking at the way the Magic, I found it strange that they were shopping Aaron Gordon but not Vucevic.
Well, supposedly he's being shopped too, but that's a good value contract though. He only makes like $12 million.
Yeah, but they're going to lose him for nothing in a losing season. You want to get something for it. The thing that
he loves Disney World.
Well, no, that's the only thing I could think of is they want him back, and in that case, you hang on to him and you don't trade him because if you trade him, he's going to feel disrespected and not obviously resign with you guys. But
no, I'm with you though. That's a great contract, and I think a lot of teams probably.
Well, and it's a great contract, but he's been there for a while, and if they're looking at it like just totally cold logically, I mean, how much of his stats contributed to winning it all? They've tried to make him a centerpiece, and he can have some monster hollow numbers. It seems like.
Is there a team though, Pete? Like you could see, because Vucevic is on the last year of his contract, so. He's got to go to a winning team this year if they're going to give up anything, right? Because if not, you just go after him in free agency.
The Lakers is a beautiful spot.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah.
Instead of focusing on Anthony Davis,
listen to this trade. Okay,
hell yeah.
You pair up. Okay, so Vucevic makes, what does he make? 13 million, right?
Something like 12.5 or something. Okay. Yeah, almost 13, I think.
Lonzo Ball wants to go somewhere where he's the guy, where he's the point. Well, guess where the worst destination is.
Right.
Where there's no point guard.
They haven't had a point guard since Jameer Nelson.
Orlando, exactly. Yeah. You ship off Alonzo Ball for a Vuce, bring him to LA, be a beautiful third star. You still try to get those other stars, but Vucevic would be the beautiful Kevin Love, Chris Bosh player. Stretch 5, who can block shots, who can play pick and roll, pick and pop, paired up with LeBron James, and then whoever they acquire in the offseason, maybe a Kawhi Leonard. Imagine that trio.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would go after him hard, and it wouldn't cost him much. It wouldn't cost him much because they're not going to demand that much for a guy that's leaving in the offseason.
Yeah.
And the contracts are easy to match up because he's only worth $12 million. So it's a lot easier to find a trade with that than Aaron Gordon making $20 million a year.
Yeah. That's just a great Lakers fan hot take to say anyway. You're like, you know what? I'd rather have Vooch than Anthony Davis.
There's a few teams that I feel like that could go after him,
Yeah.
There's other teams as well.
That's a great point. No, I like that. Another team that's, in my opinion, obviously seems like they're selling the house, the Memphis Grizzlies.
The
Memphis Grizzlies,
they publicly said it, right?
Yep.
Although it sucks that they won all those games at the beginning of the year. Their tank job was going to be very efficient tank.
But
what are you gonna do? You know, it's
tough.
Maybe
it's
they
another
can
one
get
of those
a pick
things.
out of one of those deals.
You know, you got Mike Conley at $30 million for another 2 years, even after this season. So you're talking all the way till what, 2021?
Mike Conley's similar to John Wall, except that he can help you win right now.
Yeah.
If you're going to trade Mike Conley,
he's still $10 million cheaper.
Well,
right?
If you're going to trade Mike Conley, you have to either get nothing back or give up something to someone to take on that contract for the most part. You're not going to get a lot of value.
Yeah.
No team is crazy enough. An injury-prone point guard who's 30, 31.
31.
All right, 31, who deals with injury issues and is obviously overpaid. He's a good player. I don't want to disrespect him. I love him. I love his defense. Shoots the three. But he's an overpaid player at the salary he's going to be making for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So if someone's going to take that on, they have to give something.
That's what I think. Really you look at him and he's a great player. It's like, yeah, someone could use that though. How could we make this work? It's like, who could use that right now? What contenders need what contenders need something
obviously both of us have always loved Mike Conley and the way he plays. The injury, injury stuff is definitely tough. I looked at
Does he need to go to some non-contender where it's like, yep, and you're going to be the veteran presence for the rest of this and give us some wins over the next year?
The team that I see personally, I kind of look at him as, I would love to see like the Indiana Pacers or something. You look at the Pacers' salary, and you look at the Pacers' salary, and they have a lot of last year deals, and they really only have Vic signed, at 21 mil long term, and then you have Miles Turner signed at 18 mil long term.
Well, so you really only have up, though, right?
He's at 18 mil next year, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
yeah. So what I'm saying is, you really don't have massive contracts, so you have room to fit in a Mike Conley, and you have obviously Victor out right now, so Mike Conley could come in with that team.
Guard issues too,
right? So he could come in, and I think in the East, obviously he's not bringing them to probably the Eastern Conference Finals or anything like that, but he can at least put them in the mix and maybe in the conversation, and then you get Victor back next year. I feel like the Pacers are kind of in the weird position where they need to add a third. They need to add somebody. They got Turner, they got Vic, and they need to add a third. And I think a guy like Conley would be nice. And they have some guys like Sabonis that they could toss. They have some picks. They got some expiring contracts. They got some things that they could do that I think he'd be an interesting spot there. Pete, you got anybody you think?
I've been hearing rumors of Utah.
Yeah,
I actually liked it.
I
heard what they were saying, and it was something with Rubio, getting Rubio out, trading Rubio for Conley. Conley's contract's a lot worse, but I think he'd be an upgrade over Rubio.
Sure,
he's he can stretch the floor, and he would help.
He's just as
growth.
Injury prone.
He would help the growth of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah,
and allow Donovan Mitchell to play more of the point.
Yeah,
because he can shoot.
He kind of fits the Utah system too. Utah kind of likes to play that
pick and roll
defensive team.
Yeah, so nice. He'll be a tough defensive point guard, and they can get the salaries to match up because if you trade I think it was like a Rubio and a Favors, and a Derek Favors for like Conley.
I like that a lot.
The salaries match up at around 30 million each.
Gobert out there. Man.
And Ingles,
Yeah.
I
like that a lot.
Ingles,
tough guys.
Jeez.
Defense. Well, I heard somebody bring it up.
Defense, yeah.
And I was all about it. I loved it.
No, that's a good one. What about Gasol?
Gasol seems like an easier move, though. He makes less.
What's he at?
You
25?
know what you're getting
I think
for sure.
He has one less year, I think.
Yeah, I think so. He's at 25 mil a year or something like that, right?
And in today's NBA, I don't know if he's going to be your split time or be a backup or whatever, but he just plugs in so well to so many teams, unless you're going to be running really fast, but
where's a
he's
spot
just solid.
Where's a spot he could go? Man, I know Portland was in the talks.
I was going to say Portland.
I know people were saying I would love it. I honestly would. I think it's another one that's tough.
Get him to the Brooklyn Nets. And they'll be in the top 4 in the East. Brooklyn's won 20 of their past 25 games or something.
Yeah, Brooklyn's been killing it. Brooklyn really has. Pete, you got any teams you could think of that Gasol could really help out on?
Man, I don't know. I would. What's funny is if they want to do salary relief, they could trade him
over here smiling.
Back
she wants Marc Gasol on the Celtics.
Ooh. Oh, the Celtics. That's not bad. They probably could match up salaries with Horford.
That's the thing. Why aren't we saying the Celtics in every single thing? Because out of every team in the NBA, They have the best assets, the best everything. They've got too many young guys that are all good.
I mean,
that have playoff experience. They still have picks lying around.
Well, actually, they might not be eligible to get Gasol. What if he's similar to AD?
But they have their signing problems.
What is it? They can't have 2 max players or something like that because of the Kyrie rule or whatever?
Right.
But,
so what if Gasol is in the same situation as AD? He's making close to the same amount of money.
I think, too, they wouldn't be able to afford him for just picks because they got Gordon Hayward at 30+ mil. They got Al Horford
maybe
at
that's
28.
why. It seems like they should, for everything that could be financially possible, they should be in every single conversation.
I think for Boston, if they can get rid of... It'd be tough, but to get rid of Hayward or Horford is what they would have to do to get really anybody, because you can't have Kyrie, Hayward, and Horford in those contracts and bring in any big-name players. I mean, that's a lot of money. You can't between those 3 players, you can't afford anybody else, right, Pete?
No, yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think what you could do, too, is go back to the Spurs. Let's trade him for his brother again. That'd be interesting, right? As a salary dump.
Yeah.
And then they include Lonnie Walker, their first-round pick, who's injured, because they need a nice young guard.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Get Marc Gasol paired with...
young asset right there.
You got Gasol at the 5, Aldridge at the 4, and DeRozan. Gasol can stretch it.
Yeah.
They're already a great defensive team. You add a great defensive center who probably understands Pop's... he probably understands Pop's system.
And then
Memphis
he's
a European
buys
player.
out Powell, and Powell goes back to the Lakers to finish out his career.
I think that would be a great trade, because you could pair up Gasol and like a Rudy Gay with Lonnie Walker. Rudy Gay's coming off the books. They get the young player.
Yeah.
They eat the other Gasol's brother's salary. It's a little smaller of a eat. They could probably buy him out or whatever, but he's got 2 years left.
I know DeJounte Murray's injured, but I mean, he had a big injury this year, but I think that kid's dope too, and he's obviously on a rookie contract. There's a couple guys.
I think you put Gasol with DeRozan and Aldridge and those young guards they have.
Wow.
Man, you're talking about a contender, in my opinion.
Their cap situation. I wonder how that's...
So their cap situation is pretty.
Yeah.
They got room to... They're one of the lower teams.
They could be a dark horse at the trade deadline.
So.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Another team I had, as we pick out a couple more teams here, the Charlotte Hornets. I'm just confused on what this team is doing.
Yeah.
In all honesty, because it's kind of... You got the bad contracts in Biyamo and Batum. So you're obviously trying to sell them. So then you're thinking, okay, can we sell them and maybe, start to tank? But then you got to think about it. You have Kemba Walker. So you're like in the mode of like, are we trying to build around Kemba and try to bring in some pieces? Or are we throwing away the whole farm? Because I feel like they got to do one or another at this point.
Because you got Kemba and some halfway decent pieces, but who knows how Monk's going to turn out. Monk, Jeremy Lamb's been all right. And now Jeremy Lamb hasn't been as great because Monk's playing more. But it's pretty tough. They're just quagmired.
That Batum contract we talked about last week with overpaid, Pete, I think you brought him up. I mean, that's you're not getting him off those books. Nobody's taking that. So what do you do if you're Charlotte? Are you basically just... I mean, you can't say goodbye to Kemba, right? It's either you go full tank or you try to, I don't know, trade a Marvin Williams or something for somebody that can help you out, because Kemba's going to leave too. And this is the last year of his contract, isn't it? He's out.
Yeah, Jordan.
Yeah, he's going to be a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
So
going to New York.
I can't see him coming back.
Kemba and KD in New York?
Maybe.
I can't see him coming back either. I think this team needs to try to tank.
I think Jordan, just as an owner,
they better show him some love at the All-Star game coming up.
He's the Kwame
Charlotte.
He's the Kwame Brown of being owners. Like, he is just horrible. Seriously, it's the truth. I mean, he's the GOAT on the court. You would know
personally, huh?
But as an owner, it's just bad. Like, I don't understand some of the stuff. And all those contracts, you go look at him, he's signed some of the worst deals. He's made some of the worst draft picks. And wasn't it Big Dan that told us that like somebody offered them 4 firsts for somebody and they rejected it and took the player and he was like a nobody?
I forget who that was. You're right, though.
Some of these guys...
Jordan gets too caught up in the NCAA tournament.
Well, these guys that are out of the NBA and doing this top front office stuff just doesn't work out very well. Hardly ever. It's like you need to have a good hiring. You need to have like a good executive running it that's hiring good guys to be GMs, president, that take care of business. Not like, I mean, look at what Isaiah Thomas did to the Knicks. Look at what Jordan has done as an
good
owner.
Point.
You know, all these guys. It's
players
not very often. I mean, you get guys like Jerry West, you know, that
don't bring
are
Jason
fantastic.
Kidd.
I was thinking about that
but
Jason
stuff,
Kidd.
You know, as those guys rise through the ranks, it's like you need good corporate executive types up near the top. It seems like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. If you got any listeners out there that believe that Jason Kidd is either a good or a bad coach, and you got an opinion on this, we got a buddy. Dude, Trey, obviously, as you guys should probably know, every time we bring up anything ridiculous, you guys are probably like, oh, that's got to be Trey. The dude they always talk about with the ridiculous stuff.
Let's get him
he
on
thinks
next
Jason
week.
Kidd should be LA's next coach. Who out there either believes or doesn't believe in that? Because I think Jason Kidd is trash as a coach.
Well, the major thing is he proclaims Jason Kidd to be a major upgrade from Luke Walton.
If they fire Luke Walton and hire Jason Kidd as the...
I don't even think that's a big upgrade. I'm not saying Luke's the main guy or he should be, but God, I don't blame you, man. Is there any other teams or players you guys can bring up? Do we end this trade talk?
Hey, just say right now, off the top of your head, where's Jeremy Lin going to go?
Jeremy Lin.
Back to China? I don't care, and I don't know, dude.
You don't think so? He's going to go somewhere. Yeah. He's going to be on a playoff team.
You think so? That's your prediction? Well, where do you see him going then?
I don't know, a playoff team.
Okay. Well, thanks for that help. Okay, the Pistons? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's
wherever he goes, he's not going to be a starter.
No,
He'll probably be a backup.
Yeah,
I guess.
Be a great backup.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anybody off
Maybe
the top
he's
of my head.
Maybe he's going to be packaged in something. He's going to be moving around. That's what I know. His name keeps coming up for some reason.
Yeah, he does.
They have no use for him on the Hawks. But
I don't know if anybody else has any use for him. Really
fine,
either, though.
fine.
Yeah, we're just
fine. All right, name a team right now. Where's Drew Holiday going to go?
Oh, that's a little bit better.
He ain't going back to China.
Yeah, China as well.
I could see. That's tough. Drew Holiday.
I could see, and once again, the
just
same
throw
team,
out a name.
The same
Who
teams,
knows? You might be right.
The same teams we mentioned with Mike Conley. I think Utah or the Pacers still once again would be good spots for Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday in Utah would be huge.
Yeah, I like it.
So I think either one of those teams would be good.
If Orlando wants to make a move,
and I'll go back and edit this if it's wrong.
Yeah,
or if Orlando wants to make a move in a playoff push,
yeah, Orlando would be cool.
Take Aaron Gordon, just trade him for Drew Holiday. See if Drew and Vus can
nice little pick
get something going.
Sweet.
There you go.
All right.
Awesome trade talk. Obviously, next Thursday we'll be looking for seeing if anything happens. If Jeremy Lin ends up in China or another team, but we'll be finding out pretty quickly who's
Jeremy
going
Lin
where.
ends up on the Clippers.
Right. But as always, we appreciate the listeners. Continue hitting us up and let us know what you guys think about the trade talk and if we had any accurate picks or if you got any opinions on what we talked about today. As always, 360-356-1699 or limitlessrangepodcast.com. Either way you want to do it.
Yeah, good work.
Good stuff, fellas. As always, Rip City.
All right.
Good work, boys.